Hi DIY besties, today I have a fun project. I will be showing you how I made this swirly beaded necklace. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more aesthetic DIYs. I found a really beautiful transparent glass bead with these wide swirl lines and wanted to turn them into a jewelry piece. I went to my favorite place to find inspiration, which is, surprise, Pinterest, and I found these necklaces with these organic lines intertwined with each other. I used these as inspo as they really match the bead that I have. To get started, I used a bead board, these pins for linking beads, a round nose and flat nose plier, wire cutter, nylon thread, crimp bead calotte ends, jump rings, and a clasp. And lastly, of course, beads of your choice. You will need a mix of glass beads and also small seed beads. I started by arranging my bead layout using a bead board, a mix of translucent beads in different shapes, a soft touch of pink and white, and 3 of these centerpiece beads placed evenly across the middle. Once I was happy with the layout, I began linking the beads using eye pins. First, I added a bead to a pin. The wire that is sticking out from the bead, I gently press it down, so it looks like this. I trimmed the excess to leave about 8 mm. And then I use round nose pliers to form a loop. I do that by grabbing the wire with my round nose plier, and with a rotating motion I roll the wire around the nose plier to form the loop. I move on to the next bead with the same procedure. When forming the loops, I make sure that the loop is in parallel position to the bottom one. For each new bead, I left the loop slightly open so I could connect it to the previous link. Then I closed the loop using a flat nose plier, and I continued this process until my full base chain was complete. To ensure you have the desired length, make sure to measure around your neck. To prep for the swirls, I cut 2 nylon threads, each about 3 times longer than the necklace length. I tied 1 double knot at one end. Added some glue for strength, and then I fed both threads through a crimp bead calotte along with a pin. Make sure that the pin's loop is small enough to sit snug inside the clamshell. Cut off excess nylon thread. Then I close the calotte with a flat nose plier to keep everything secure. I bend the wire that comes out from the calotte end. I trim the wire to leave around 8 mm and form a loop. Before closing the loop, I connect it with my beaded necklace chain that I worked before on. I used tape to gently hold the base necklace in place before I started with the swirls. I started with silver seed beads. On 1 nylon thread, I added around 20 beads at a time. I jump over 2 glass beads from the base necklace and thread through the eye of 1 glass bead in the base necklace to form an arch. Next, I added another 20 beads and threaded through another loop along the necklace, this time on the opposite side. You can totally freestyle this part. What matters is that the swirl strand is longer than the base loop it's crossing, so it creates that flowy, airy shape. Once I finished one side, I moved to the second nylon thread, this time using white seed beads. I start on the opposite side so that the pattern crisscrosses with the previous swirl. I also freestyled, so I ended up with different sizes of arches for a more organic feel. To close the necklace, I repeated the same step with the crimp bead calotte on the other end. Feeding both nylon threads through. Before making the knot, I take an eye pin, hook it in with the base necklace, and also thread through the crimp bead calotte. I've cut off excess wire and then made a small loop that would fit inside the crimp bead calotte end. Then I grabbed the nylon threads to finally make a double knot. I also added some glue again to double secure it. I take my flat nose plier to close the crimp bead calotte end. I also cut off the excess nylon thread sticking out. I finished off by adding jump rings to both ends. And a lobster clasp to one side. And the beaded swirly necklace is done. This necklace was super fun and easy to make, and I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. Like and subscribe for more.